Hey guys, so this week we're going to be taking a look at daily bags, and the bag we're going to be taking a look at is the Battalion 24-Hour Backpack by Recycled Firefighter. And so when I first saw this bag, I was immediately drawn to it because it reminded me a ton of the Evergoods CPL 24 as well as the Goruck Gr1, which are two bags we've had on the channel in the past and that I absolutely loved. Although those are both excellent daily bags, one of my main complaints about them was just kind of the really high price point that they have. And I was really excited that the Recycled Firefighter bag here seemed to offer many of the things that I loved from the Evergoods CPL 24 and the Goruck Gr1 without any sort of compromises at a lower price point. So it seemed like a great alternative for anybody who had been interested in those bags in the past but was looking to save a little bit of money. So I had heard of Recycled Firefighter in the past, but I wasn't aware that they had kind of a really capable daily bag like this. However, on one of my previous videos, a viewer commented that they recommend I check out this bag, based on the different videos that they had seen in mine and thought that this might be cool for me to check out. So I've been using this as my primary daily bag for the past couple of weeks, and I have to say I've been super impressed. I absolutely love using it. I think it offers a perfect mix of quality, features, and space, and I think it compares really well to many of the other daily bags that we've had here on the channel. So I'm just really excited to share it with you guys, and so let's dive in and take a closer look at the 24-Hour Battalion Backpack by Recycled Firefighter. So just starting out with the outside of the bag, I really love the overall look and styling. I think it has a really cool minimal look. As I mentioned in the intro to the video, it reminds me a lot of the Evergoods CPL 24 and the Goruck Gr1. So as we go through the video, I'll probably be calling out a few similarities and differences that I noticed as I was testing the bag out. But the bag itself just has a really simple and clean look. It feels super durable. It's made out of a really tough 1000D Cordura material. It has really thick number 10 YKK zippers all around the bag. They're super smooth and they feel like they're going to hold up really well over the long term. The bag itself is actually pretty light considering how rugged the materials are, so it's just a little bit over a pound. And I really just like the capacity and slim form factor that it has. It has kind of the perfect balance of space to slimness ratio. So the bag manages to maintain a really slim profile, so even when it's really full, when you're walking around with it, it never sticks out. It always hugs your back really closely, which is really nice. But it has a 22-liter capacity, which is kind of an ideal size for daily use. So in the past, we've had the Goruck Gr1, the 21-liter here on the channel, and the Evergoods CPL, which is about 24 liters. So this bag is kind of in between those, and I think that that's really a great size for daily use. I always felt that the Gr1 21-liter could have just a little bit more space, for times when I want to carry like some gym clothes or even if I want to take a quick trip. Whereas I thought the CPL 24, although it's really good, it's just slightly bigger than what I typically want to carry with me on a day-to-day basis. So this is really kind of that sweet spot where it still manages to hold everything that I want to carry with me, but it has a really great, slim, sleek look. So really love the size choice overall. And I just think this look is perfect for fitting in a variety of environments. I feel really comfortable walking around the city with this or going into my office with it. It's just minimal enough that it fits in just about anywhere, and it also avoids kind of that more tactical look that the Gr1 has on it. But continuing on with the outside of the bag, as I mentioned, just really simple, nice minimal look. I really like the big patch that it has here on the front. There's a nice big Velcro patch, so if you want to customize the bag a little bit, it has that there. It has a nice strong handle on the top. It really feels like it's gonna, hold a lot of weight well, so you can pick the bag up really quickly and have no fear that this is gonna tear. So one thing I was a little sad to see is that there's no external water bottle compartment, and because it doesn't have that MOLLE webbing, as we were saying, you can't add a water bottle compartment to it. So, if you do want to carry a water bottle with you, you have to put it on the inside of the compartment. So that's not a huge deal. That's something I've had to deal with a lot of other bags that I've tested out on the channel. But as always, I always kind of prefer to have the option to carry that on the outside with me if I can. But definitely not a deal breaker. And overall, I think it helps keep a really slim and clean look on the outside of the bag. Moving on to the straps and the back panel, I was really impressed with just how comfortable the bag was to wear right out of the box. The straps are really well padded. They're nice and thick. They feel very much like the Gr1 straps in my opinion, so they're very wide to help carry a lot of weight. They feel really rugged, like they're going to hold a lot of weight very well and like they're not going to tear or anything like that. One thing to note is that they're made out of the same Cordura material that the rest of the bag is made out of, which is very durable, but it doesn't feel like it's going to allow a lot of air to flow through, so it might build up some moisture as you're wearing this with a lot of weight throughout the day. But overall, they still feel really padded and really thick. And one thing that I like is that they're not that stiff when you first get the bag. So the Gr1 straps, when I first got it, was not that comfortable to wear just because of how rigid the straps are out of the box. So it's had a really long kind of break-in period, and now it's very comfortable to wear as I use it very often. But this bag, just right away I was able to start wearing it and it felt great. So really impressed with just how well padded and thick everything feels. The straps themselves don't come with any sort of sternum strap. They do seem to have these kind of nylon webbing attachments here, so I imagine that you could attach a sternum strap if you wanted to. It also has these plastic rings here. I guess you could maybe hang your sunglasses here if you wanted to, or maybe a light of some sort. I don't really typically use these, but there's one on each strap, so it's nice to have some sort of attachment points. Moving on to the back panel of the bag. The back itself feels pretty padded. It's got like a nice foamy material. It doesn't stick out too much, and so it's not as soft to wear as a lot of the other bags that we've had on the channel. But it does remind me of the Evergoods and Goruck bags, which also don't really have a back that has a lot of airflow or pops out quite a lot. And so on the back here, there is a little bit of foam, and there's also that same Cordura material that was on the straps. Even though there's a few ridges here to provide a little bit of elevation, it doesn't feel like air is gonna be able to flow that well through your back, and it definitely feels like if you're wearing this on a hot day, you're gonna get really sweaty as you're holding this, especially with a lot of weight. So, it's not uncomfortable to wear at all. But if you're somebody who's very concerned about keeping your back dry or about having a lot of channels for the air to flow through, the bag is kind of lacking that a little bit. But all in all, I think the bag has been super comfortable to wear as I've been using it on my day-to-day. I carry it with a pretty good amount of weight most of the time. And even though my back has gotten a little bit sweaty, because of how wide the straps are and how well padded everything is, I haven't felt any fatigue at all, and it's really been comfortable to wear all around. So great job there. So moving on to the compartments, the bag is very simple in the compartments that it offers. It offers a laptop compartment, kind of a main compartment, and then a quick access compartment on the front. So the first compartment we're going to take a look at is the front quick access compartment. And so this is just a really simple kind of long pocket. So it covers the whole front side of the bag, and it just has one quick access zipper. And as I mentioned earlier, all the zippers are YKK. They have a really nice kind of rain guard to help add a little bit of water resistance to the bag. And so I really love just how wide opening this compartment is, and I also love the fact that it's really easy to access while you're actually wearing the bag. You can just swing it around and just slide this open. So very similar to how the implementation was done on the Evergoods CPL 24. And so just opening this compartment up, it's very simple. There's no internal organization. One thing that immediately stands out is this really bright orange lining on the inside that makes it very easy to see everything that's in the compartment. So, even if it's a little bit darker, this really contrasts against everything that I have in there, so it's very easy to see. The compartment itself has a good amount of volume. It's not going to be great for having super bulky items, but I was impressed at how much I was actually able to fit in here. And so the items that I currently have in here is just an Orca Tactical kind of MOLLE organizer. And so this just has some accessories that I typically grab with me very quickly throughout the day. And so that's been a really useful gadget to have in here, and it fits very comfortably in that pocket. And I also have a full-size moleskin notebook, and so that's something I grab often during the day. But this might be a great pocket for also putting, a Kindle or a tablet of some sort. It's not padded, so that'd be one thing to keep an eye out for. But it is very easy to access quickly, and I just love how much space it offers. As I mentioned, it covers the whole front side of the bag, so it's a pretty tall pocket. So that's just one thing to note, is that if you have a lot of kind of loose or smaller items in here, they're probably going to be floating all around the pocket. Next up, I want to talk about the laptop compartment. So the bag has a really nice side access laptop compartment. It also has that same YKK zipper with the rain guard. And so the compartment itself seems very spacious. It holds up to a 15-inch MacBook. So currently what I have in here is my 13-inch MacBook Pro, but you can see there's plenty of space for a 15-incher. The compartment itself is pretty well padded. It has that same bright orange lining that the front zippered compartment had, so very easy to see on the inside. There's a decent amount of foam padding on the front and back of the compartment, so some of this foam is the same one that sits against your back as you're wearing it. And so it offers a good amount of padding, but unfortunately the compartment doesn't have any sort of fleece lining to help prevent against micro scratches or anything like that. But it does feel like it's going to keep the laptop pretty well protected. One thing I was happy to see is that it does seem to have some sort of padding on the bottom to protect your laptop when you're putting the bag down on the ground or something. So it has kind of this lip that sticks out here, and that seems to be pretty well padded so that when you're putting your laptop into the bag, it doesn't make contact with the ground or a hard table or something. I do wish that this would have been elevated instead of just having this little lip, because there is a small gap here, so there is a chance, especially if you have a really thin laptop like one of the newer MacBooks or a MacBook Air or something, there is a chance that the laptop could slip into this gap in between the padding and still hit the ground. as opposed to the padding. So that's a little bit of a risk, and it would have been a little bit nicer to see that the compartment was elevated as opposed to just having this lip. But it's still really nice that they have some sort of padding on the bottom. That was one of my complaints with the Evergoods CPL 24, was that your laptop was a little bit more exposed on the bottom. So I really like that they kind of took that precaution here. I really like the side axis of the compartment. It makes it very easy to grab when you put the bag down, or if you swing it around your shoulder, you can actually reach in and grab your laptop. And this sort of axis is also great for when you're going through TSA. It's just really quick and easy to grab it. And so overall, I just really like how well implemented the laptop compartment was. Definitely feel like it's going to help keep my device safe. So moving on to the main compartment, similar to the Goruck Gr1 and the Evergoods CPL 24, the bag has a really great clamshell opening style. So it has zippers that go all the way down on both sides, and you can open it up flat, which makes packing very easy. I always feel like bags that lay flat like this have a little bit of extra capacity. I always feel like I'm able to squeeze just a little bit more in there. As I mentioned earlier in the video, the bag has a 22-liter capacity, so it very easily held everything that I typically carry with me on a day-to-day basis. So as you can see here, I've included all the same items that I use in all my other daily bag videos. And there's definitely leftover space, so if I wanted to take a pair of gym clothes or something like that, I'd have room in here to put that. And so the compartment itself, I really like how simply it's laid out. It's just kind of a big bucket. It doesn't have any sort of internal organization in this main area, which allows me to kind of pack everything how I feel it will fit best, which I really like. So just diving into the items that I have here, the first thing I have is my Beats Solo Wireless 2. And next up, I have the same water bottle that I've had in all my other daily bag videos. As I mentioned earlier, I store it in the main compartment because there's no external pocket to hold it, so not ideal, but I do like that the laptop is not in this compartment, so at least there's still a little bit of separation and not quite as much risk that the water is gonna fall onto my electronics. So that's a nice trade-off there. So next up, I have my power packer, which is where I organize all of my smaller electronics accessories, cables and dongles and things like that. So I really love how well that keeps everything organized. I also have a few books in here. Still reading through Start with the Why, almost getting done there. And then I have another just kind of big textbook that I've been carrying with me. And then on top of that, I have my folder to hold receipts and important papers. And then of course I have my Levitate portable standing desk, which I like to carry with me wherever I go. And so as I mentioned, the compartment itself is just, really simple. So just a nice big open space. I love that it lets me configure everything how I want to. If I even wanted to use this for a quick trip, this is kind of an ideal layout for using packing cubes or something like that. And so the bottom of the bag has got this nice little padding, and the compartment itself also has the same orange lining that the other pockets had to help make it a little bit easier to see everything that's in the bag. So that's a really nice touch there. And so moving on to the flap of the main compartment. This seems to be a popular layout in bags these days, so I hate to keep going back to the Goruck Gr1 and the Evergoods CPL, but the layout here is very similar to the implementation that you see in those bags. So it has kind of two mesh zippered compartments on the flap that provide a little bit of internal organization. And these are really well implemented, and so I've become quite fond of these pockets. I love how much space they give you, and how because they're mesh, it's very easy to see what's in each pocket. And so this top pocket here is what I've been using for kind of my quick access compartment. So this is where I keep the items that I grab most during the day. So what I have here is my sunglasses with their case. And then I have a lightning charger for my phone. And then I also have my Apple Magic Mouse. And so I've been really impressed at how much I was able to fit in these compartments. I don't know if they necessarily have their own volumes, like the compartments on the Evergoods CPL 24. These are kind of a nice middle ground, so they're not completely flat, which is nice because then I can put bulkier items like my sunglasses, but they're not quite as they don't have quite as much volumes as the one on the CPL. And so for the second zipper compartment, this one's a little bit bigger than the one on the top, so this would be great for bigger items such as your laptop charger or something like that. Currently what I have in here is my portable Bluetooth speaker and power bank, the Blue Pot. And then I also have my UTech wireless charger for my phone, so that's something I definitely want to carry with me on a day-to-day basis. And then I also just have a backup USB to USB-C cable for my laptop or a phone, or I just always like to have a few spare cables in case anybody needs one. And so again, this pocket, I was really impressed with just how much volume it has. It doesn't have as much volume as the Evergoods bags, but I was really impressed with just how much it kind of comes out. So even though I wouldn't put something super bulky in here, it is great for storing, as I mentioned, laptop charger, portable hard drives, the items that I showed off there. So overall, I just really like the versatility and organization that these pockets offer. I think they were really well implemented, and I was just really impressed with how much I was able to fit in them. And so when I first received the bag, one thing that I was really curious about was whether I'd be able to use this for quick trips. You know, most of these bags that lay flat, as I mentioned, they have a little bit of extra capacity, so it seemed like it would work really well for a weekend trip. And so as you can see here, I was actually able to fit my larger double-sided packing cube along with an extra pair of shoes into the bag, and so that fit really comfortably. I also feel like I'd be able to use the mesh compartments on the flap to, you know, hold some of my smaller accessories or maybe my toiletries or, you know, underwear and socks and things like that. And so overall, I think this would be a great bag for a quick weekend trip, on top of the fact that it works awesome as a daily bag. So a while back, I did a review for the Tortuga Outbreaker Day Pack, and that's been one of the best day packs that I've seen for packing. You know, it packs really flat, so, you know, it's a pretty capable day bag for when you're traveling with a larger travel backpack. That's a good bag to use when you arrive at your destination. And when watching that video, one of my viewers asked if this Recycled Firefighter bag would also work well as a packable day bag. And so, you know, when I first saw the bag on the site, I wasn't quite sure, just because it is a larger bag at 22 liters and it is pretty rugged. So, you know, I thought, based off my experience with the GR1, that it might not work well for packing inside of another travel backpack. But I have to say, I was really surprised when I received the bag at how easily this bag seemed to pack down. So as you can see, it's not that rigid. And so if you have it unzipped, the sides all kind of collapse on themselves pretty well, and the bag ends up pretty flat. So upon seeing just how flat the bag got, I was definitely curious to see if it would fit in one of my other travel bags. And so what I went ahead and did is tested it out with the Tortuga Outbreaker 35 liter bag, which is the one that I also featured in the review for the Outbreaker Day Pack, to see if I would be able to fill this bag up with, you know, a packing cube or two, as well as the bag, and see if it would still be able to shut. And I have to say, even though it was a little bit of a tight fit and I kind of had to squeeze it a little bit to make sure that the zippers got all the way around, the bag actually closed. So considering that the Tortuga Outbreaker is a pretty slim bag and it's not that big, it's really impressive that the Recycled Firefighter bag fits in there so comfortably. So in response to the viewer's question, yes, this is a bag that you can pack in a larger bag, especially if you're traveling with a bigger backpack. So if you were to use Tortuga's set-out backpack, which is about 45 liters as opposed to 35, this bag would definitely fit in there pretty comfortably. I also packed this into my nomadic travel bag, which is also about 40 liters, and it fits in there very well. So very, very interesting to see. And once again, I really appreciate the suggestions from the viewers. I never would have thought to check this out as a packable day bag, but I'm really excited I did, as this might be something that I consider using as I travel in the future. So overall, I was super impressed with the 24-hour backpack. I think it's a fantastic daily bag. I was super impressed with how comfortable it is to wear, how much I'm able to fit in it, and just kind of the pocket layout and different features that it has to offer. As I mentioned many times during the video, as I was testing this out, I kept kind of thinking in my mind how it compared to the Goruck Gr1 and the Evergoods CPL 24, which are two bags that are really popular as daily bags. They're great bags all on their own, but I was just really impressed at how well this bag compared to those really well-known bags. You can purchase the 24-hour backpack from Recycled Firefighter's website for about $160. And from what I could see, these seem to come and go really quickly. It seems to be a really popular bag, so you just kind of have to be on the lookout for when they're back in stock. These are all hand sewn in the US, as I mentioned earlier in the video, so the stock does seem to be limited. When I went online to order the bag, I wasn't able to get the black color, which would have been ideal for me. I really love this gray color here, but it does seem like the stock is fairly limited for each color, so if you have a specific one in mind, you definitely want to keep an eye on the website so that you can make sure to grab them when they get back in stock. And so as I mentioned, the bag cost about $160, which is a great price compared to bags like the GR1. So the GR1 21 liter, which is the bag that's most comparable to this one, costs about $295 on Goruck's website. You know, there's different discounts for students and teachers, but all in all, it's still gonna be about $100 more than the Recycled Firefighter bag. So, you know, the Goruck bags are great. I've been a big fan of using them, you know, for a long time now, and they have a great quality, and they have a few additional features that the Recycled Firefighter bag doesn't have, such as the MOLLE webbing and the false bottom to help keep your laptop a little bit more protected. And the Goruck bag just feels a little bit more rigid overall. But if you're looking to save a little bit of money and you just really like the style and look of the Goruck bags, I think this is a great alternative to take a look at. And overall, I haven't felt like there's been any huge trade-off by using this bag over the GR1. And as I mentioned, it also compares really well to the Evergoods CPL 24. The look is actually even more similar to the Evergoods bag in my opinion. You know, both bags have this, kind of front side zipper. They have a lot of emphasis on being able to access the bag, while you're still wearing it. So they both have a side access laptop compartment and things like that. The Evergoods CPL 24 costs about $220. So it's a good amount more expensive, and I really don't think there's a lot of benefits to picking the Evergoods bag over the Recycled Firefighter bag. I think this bag holds up super well. I think as far as quality, they both feel like they're gonna hold up for a really long time. And I think this bag is even more comfortable to wear. I feel like it holds about the same amount of stuff, and I just think overall it's a much better deal. So if you were looking at the Evergoods CPL 24 or the Goruck Gr1, but you're looking to save a little bit of money, or you're just looking for another comparable alternative, I definitely recommend you take a look at the Recycled Firefighter bag. And at $160, this bag isn't cheap by any means. It's still a bit of an investment, especially when compared to some of the other really good daily bags that we've had here on the channel. But for the quality and the types of features that it offers and the fact that it's made in the US, I think it's a really reasonable price, and I think it's definitely worth checking out if you're looking for a bag that's going to be able to hold a lot of stuff for your daily carry, as well as maintain a good amount of comfort, and that's going to last for a really long time at a reasonable price point. And so as always, I just want to go ahead and thank my viewers for any sort of suggestions that you have. I really take those to heart. I try to respond to all the comments, and I always want to make sure to take all the great feedback that you guys have into account. So if there's other bags that you are interested in seeing me check out on the channel, I'm definitely excited to hear about those, and always appreciate you guys sending those suggestions my way. If you guys have any questions about the bag, please go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And if you guys found this video useful, please go ahead and give us a like below. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. And thank you guys so much.